Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Vicki Chats podcast. It's such a pleasure and an honor to have you there. I have a very special guest in the studio with me today, Gwen Bramlet-Hecker. Today's guest has spent her career working at the intersection of justice, advocacy, and community care. Gwen Bramlet-Hecker is the executive director of Riverview Center, an organization providing crisis support, long-term services, advocacy, and therapy for survivors of sexual assault and abuse across 14 counties in Iowa and 2 counties in Illinois. Gwen joined Riverview Center in 2017 as Director of Development, later serving as Iowa Program Director before becoming Executive Director in 2022. Her professional journey reflects a deep commitment to social justice and helping survivors navigate systems that don't always serve them well. And she holds a bachelor's degree in sociology from Eastern Illinois University and a master's in criminal justice sciences from Illinois State University. And she completed doctoral coursework at Michigan State University, focusing on sociology, criminology, and the intersections of race, class, and gender. Gwen has called Waterloo home for more than 25 years. She originally came to the Cedar Valley to teach sociology courses at University of Northern Iowa, where her work explored how social systems impact justice and opportunity. She later spent many years with Kaplan University, including 7 years as president of the Cedar Falls campus. Today, Gwen's work continues to center on advocacy, equity, and supporting survivors, especially those from marginalized communities. Please welcome Gwen Bramlet-Hecker.
Thank you, Vicki. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, my pleasure and such an honor. So tell me, Gwen, you've lived in Waterloo for more than 25 years. What originally drew you to the Cedar Valley and what has kept you here?
So I grew up in Central Illinois, and when I saw University of Northern Iowa and visited, I fell in love with it and moved here to the Cedar Valley to work at UNI and like I said, loved it. We've lived in Waterloo the whole time. I love the diversity in the community of Waterloo, and we've raised our family here, and really and just so pleased to be here, and I recommend it to anyone.
Oh, I love that so much. Now, for listeners who may not be familiar, can you tell us what Riverview Center does and the impact it has across communities it serves?
Sure. So at Riverview Center, we provide crisis and long-term support services for survivors of sexual violence in 14 counties in Iowa and 2 in Illinois. We also provide the same services for survivors of domestic violence in our 2 Illinois counties as well. Our services include general advocacy, case management, medical advocacy for survivors of sexual violence, therapy services, and just overall support for those who've been harmed, whether they were harmed by, last weekend, 6 months ago, 6 years ago, or even 20 years ago. People who have experienced harm, we're here to help.
Oh my gosh. And what are some of the most important services Riverview Center provides to survivors?
So the most important services are, number one, our belief. We believe you. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to, we're not going to question you. All you have to do is tell us that you're a survivor of sexual violence, and we believe you. Also, our services are 100% free, meaning that someone does not have to try to find a way to pay for mental health services or support services. We never want someone's inability to pay to hinder their ability to heal. Yes. And our services are 100% confidential. Oftentimes, we are the only person that a survivor has shared their story with. And we take that very seriously, and we are 100% confidential as well.
Oh, profound. So when you're not working, Gwen, what does a perfect day off look like for you?
Ooh, a day off. They're rare, but yes. A day off for me, for a perfect day off, I'm an early riser, so I love getting up early. A day like today, gorgeous outside.
Yes.
Go for a run. I love to run, and that is kind of my my self-care.
Yes.
And I love to putter around the house. I'm I'm a competition reality junkie. So Top Chef, Project Runway, watching all of those, get my chores done around the house, enjoy, I'm kind of a homebody, and then, spend the evening dinner with my family and, and early to bed and a good night's sleep. That's a perfect day for me.
That's beautiful. So you're a grandmother with another grandchild on the way. How has becoming a grandparent changed your perspective on life?
Oof. I didn't know it could, and it has. I think it's made me even more sort of quietly ferocious in my desire to have an equitable and safe world for everyone. I'm not really a traditional grandmother. I'm an activist grandmother. And my 18 or 16-month-old granddaughter Eloise has already been to political forums with me, and and my daughter Susan was with me when she was a child, and so I think it's just made me even more dogged in my desire to have a fair and safe world for everybody.
Oh, that's beautiful. So what were some early experiences or influences in your life that sparked your passion for justice and advocacy?
I have to say my mother. I'm the youngest of 8 children, and my mother was an older mother, generationally, and very traditional in many ways. But raising her 6 daughters, she made us believe that anything was possible, and that there was a fairness, and there was justice that should be done. And she was a very strong woman herself. She was very entrepreneurial. Just intuitively, and ran her own businesses, and expected that the world would have a place for her to do the things that she wanted to do. And I think that just sort of is, we didn't talk about it a lot, but it was the role modeling, I think, that stayed with me.
Oh, wow. I love that. So you've had such an intellectually rich academic journey. Were you always drawn to sociology and understanding people and systems?
I remember my first sociology class in undergrad at Eastern. My professor, Ron Wolstein, I remember he started explaining sociology and explaining systems and how they work, and light bulbs just went off in my head. And it explained so much of what I had experienced in the world and so much of what I saw. So at that moment, I don't think I thought that I would continue my education as far as I did, and then I would work in education. But I see the world through a lens of systems and how things relate to each other, and how when one system does this, it's going to impact people in this other system a certain way. So it does appeal to me in how what my worldview is.
Oh, I love that. So who has been one of the most influential mentors or role models in your life?
Oof. Again, I think my mom, for sure. My sister, Susan, she's been the executive director of the Illinois National Organization of Women for 35 years. And I consider myself a lifelong feminist, and she definitely has been a role model for me in terms of trying to reduce the barriers of women, people of color, the LGBTQ community, all that, to live in a fair and just world. So for sure.
Gosh, yes. And when work becomes heavy, because the subject matter can be emotionally intense, how do you personally recharge?
Like I said, I am definitely a homebody. And I definitely need my time to myself. I'm an empty nester, and my husband and I work different schedules. So, I do enjoy that. And like I said, I do love running too, and movement is very important to me. I came to it later in life, and now I can't imagine my life without running. So, those are time getting away and sort of clearing out the headspace is really important to me.
And what's something that most people would be surprised to learn about you?
Ooh, something surprised about me. That's a good question. I'm not as serious as I come off. I love to laugh, and I love humor. But I think in my day-to-day life, particularly with my work, I tend to have to be really serious. But I think people would be surprised how much I enjoy laughing.
Oh, that's cute. I love it. So what advice would you give your younger self when you were just beginning your career?
I think I would give myself the advice that I'm not too much. I have a lot of thoughts, and I have a lot of opinions all the time. And I try to put my work behind my opinions, and I try to put my work behind my thoughts. But sometimes when you're younger, it's hard to take up space.
Oh,
and I think I would tell my younger self, take up the space.
There you go. I love that. Mic drop. Yes. So what brings you the most joy in this season of your life?
Gosh, my granddaughter. I mean,
Yes.
people say that and it sounds kind of trite, but and I think for me, the experience of watching my daughter parent brings me
Yes.
incredible joy. She's a really, really great instinctive parent.
Oh,
And watching her parent
yes.
is a true joy for me.
Aw. And you've got one more on the way.
I do, another little girl.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's a
yeah,
little girl
it's a little girl.
again.
So yeah.
And
Mhm.
you have 5 sisters?
I have 5 sisters and 2 brothers. I'm the youngest of 8.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah.
So you know what it's like to have a lot of girls.
A lot of girls. Yeah, a lot of girls.
So when is baby due?
May.
Oh, I've got one for my babies
Yay.
grandbabies due in May as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it's a good time. Mhm.
Aren't you excited?
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm very excited, and I'm also the girls are going to be 18 months apart, and that to me is
Ooh.
it sounds exhausting. So
Yeah,
you know,
it sounds
it reminds me of why you have children when you're young.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
And those little girls will be so close.
They will.
It's going to be so lovely to watch that.
They will. Mhm.
So you joined the organization Riverview Center in 2017 and became executive director in 2022.
Mhm.
What has that journey been like for you?
It has been it has been inspiring. It has been it's revealing. I mean, it's just to me, like I said, I've always worked in the periphery of sexual violence and domestic violence and whatnot, but really working as close as I do and really understanding how this world makes things so hard for survivors, and how oftentimes what makes it hard for survivors are because of choices that people make. So then people could make different decisions.
Yes.
That to me has been the most revealing part, that how easy it might be for us to make adjustments so things are easier for survivors, the systems they work in, whether it be healthcare, justice system, the economy, whatever. There are decisions that could be made that would make it easier for survivors, but because of kind of our social hang up on dealing with sexual harm, the harm that comes from sexual violence, we don't make the right decisions. And so that to me has been the most revealing part of this journey for me.
So your academic work focused on the intersections of race, class, and gender within justice systems. How do these insights shape the way you lead today?
You know, what it's really taught me is that I have a certain way that I view the world based on my experiences being from a large family, being a white woman, being of my age. And my studies have really helped me know that it's important for me to step back and have empathy for others whose experiences are different. And by empathy, I mean listening to what people's experiences are and believing them that that's what they're experiencing, even if it's different than my own experience, right? And understanding that race, class, gender, identity, all of those things, religion, all of those things shape how people experience the world.
Oh, how fascinating. So what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about sexual assault and survivor support services?
Biggest misconceptions, I think, number one is people have no idea how extensive the problem is, how many people that they see and work with and talk to on a daily basis have experienced harm. If you think about it, you know, 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys, and those are conservative estimates, have experienced some form of sexual violence in their life. You ask any woman, any adult woman in this world, and they will share with you their own stories of trying to navigate the world, always feeling at risk and always having to do the mental algebra of, am I safe? Am I in a safe place? Am I at risk? You know, I always say that the old joke about why do women go to the bathroom in pairs, and it always becomes a punchline, right? But really, women go to the bathroom in pairs because they feel vulnerable in those moments, because it's a hidden space when you go to the restroom, and they take a pal with them to be safe, right? So I think one of the misconceptions is people have no idea how often people have been harmed and how much we carry with us the feeling of risk.
Oh, yes. And tell me, what unique challenges do survivors in rural communities sometimes face when seeking help?
We have a special grant that actually we doubled down on our work in our rural communities, because 13 of our 16 counties are defined as incredibly rural. People in rural communities struggle on 2 fronts. Number one, familiarity. Oftentimes, people know the woman who's been harmed or the person who's been harmed, but they also know the perpetrator. I remember I was talking with a woman who received our services many years ago, and she said she was a victim of domestic violence. And she talked about when her husband got violent with her and she called the first responder. The first responder used to be her paper boy.
Oh.
And the judge that they saw the next morning was part of the foursome of her husband who golfed every weekend. And so it really is difficult in rural communities with the familiarity of everybody to disclose kind of the dirty laundry of it, number one. And the other thing that rural survivors struggle with is rural communities are just much more under-resourced. So there's just less help available in those communities. So it's really important. We say we're mobile advocates. So we have 4 offices in Iowa, but we cover 14 counties, and we travel and we have presence in all of those counties to do the best we can to make sure survivors know we're there to help them.
Oh my gosh, yes. And what role can everyday community members play in supporting survivors and preventing violence?
So I think it's, I can't say this enough. And again, this sounds very trite too, but if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
If you know something, help.
Right.
Be a safe person. If someone you work with, someone who's part of your church congregation, if they see you as someone that is empathetic, compassionate, discreet, someone who can keep a secret, someone who isn't a gossip, someone who, someone they can trust, that's the best thing you can do to be someone who will come forward to share with you what they've experienced.
Oh my gosh. Are there any programs or initiatives at Riverview Center that you are especially excited about right now?
So we have, as I said, the rural services has been incredibly helpful for us. We also have a grant for transitional housing because we know that affordable housing for anyone is incredibly difficult to find. And so we have a transitional housing program we're very, very proud of. But for me, it's just the everyday work of the young professionals that I work with. I mean, I call them sort of emotional first responders because, we are often the first phone call that is made when someone shows up at the hospital and discloses having been harmed. And even just last night at 4 a.m. in one of our other parts of our service area, we got a call from a hospital, and an advocate got up in the middle of the night, the dark of the night, and left and went to the hospital to be with that person. And they walk in the door not knowing what they're going to find. They don't know if it's an adult. They don't know if it's a child. They don't know if there's been physical harm. So the work they do is 24/7, 365. We never stop. We're always available. So I think that's the thing we're most proud of is we're always there and we always believe you.
Yes. So for someone watching us right now who might need help or knows someone who does, what should be their first step?
So I think the first step is deciding, particularly if it's someone that you know and care about, or even yourself, think through what your desire is. There's no right way for a survivor to make the journey to heal. There's no one way or there's no right way. For some people, it's securing an apology from the person who harmed them.
Yes.
For some people, it's going to law enforcement and pursuing justice. And for some, it's just coming to us and helping them learn coping strategies for when their trauma comes back up on them, because it does. But, really be comfortable with the idea, or work to be comfortable with the idea that no survivor has to do anything. They get to decide how they heal and what their journey to justice is going to look like. And if it's someone that you know or care about, with the best of intentions, you might think you know what's best for them. Really resist that urge to tell them what is right for them, and let them disclose to you how you can be helpful in their journey.
Oh, yes, that's so important.
Yes.
So looking ahead, Gwen, what is your vision for the future of Riverview Center and the work you're doing?
So, I've been an executive director 4 years, and I feel like I finally know my job. So I have real visions for continuing to grow our presence, particularly in our rural communities. That's an area that's of great importance to me, and continuing to find ways to reduce the barriers that survivors have to come forward to seek the help that they deserve. There's so many rape myths out there and things that keep survivors living in shame and keep them from feeling like they deserve healing.
Right.
And so my view for Riverview Center is for us to continue becoming better in our services, more trauma informed, and continuing to evolve in how we are, survivor centered ways, making those connections.
Wow. So let's talk about the upcoming events.
Yes. Yes. So on April 22nd at 7:30 in the morning at Bienvenue, we are hosting our Breakfast of Light, which is our largest fundraiser of the year. It's also kind of a gift that we like to give to the communities that we serve, and that we bring in someone who can provide a keynote address that helps us all continue to learn how to be better bystanders, how to be better support for survivors of sexual violence and domestic violence. And this year we have Jim Schmidt coming to be our keynote speaker. You might know Jim. He is the co-founder of the Gabby Petito Foundation, and he was Gabby Petito's stepfather. And with his wife, Gabby's father, and his wife, they have started the Gabby Petito Foundation to both travel the country to help teach people how to create safe spaces for survivors, particularly young survivors, to come forward to seek the help that they deserve, or to disclose that something's happening to them. And Jim himself travels to do training with first responders. He's a lifelong firefighter, and he trains first responders how to detect signs that what they're seeing in front of them is actually someone who has experienced some form of abuse. Had the law enforcement officers that Gabby interacted with in her cross-country journey when she was experiencing intimate partner violence, if they had been able to really understand the signs and to really not misinterpret what they were seeing, Gabby might be alive today. So Jim's coming to speak about all that he's learned. He's a really self-aware and evolved person. I've enjoyed my conversations with him so much. But he's coming forward to share with us ways that we can all be better allies and better safe people for those in our midst who might be harmed.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so how do they get tickets?
Best way to get tickets is to go to our website, riverviewcenter.org. We are also hosting the Evening of Light the night before in Dubuque. So you'll see on the website a spot to click for those tickets, but you'll see a spot to click for the Breakfast of Light at the Bienvenue on April 22nd. We have seats available. We would love to see you there.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
No, I just appreciate this opportunity, and I want people to know that, you know, Riverview Center's there for them, whether the harm experience, they experienced the harm last weekend, 6 years ago, even 20 years ago. We worked with survivors who've been carrying harm with them for that long, and we've helped them figure out how to get to the other side of it. So we're here for you.
Yay. Thank you so much, Gwen. It's been an honor.
Well, thank you. I appreciate so much the opportunity to talk.
Oh, thank you. And you'll come back and do this again?
Absolutely. Anytime.
Yay. I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in.